All your favorite wrestling shows rolled into one. Welcome to the We Book It podcast. Let's start the show.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my singles and tag team competitors, and welcome to the Friday Night Lowdown, hosted by yours truly, the first ever booking champion, Fritos. No longer freaky since I don't see the cutout of Rhea Ripley, but don't worry, we will talk about her tonight. We had a Friday Night SmackDown tonight in Pittsburgh. We started off the show tonight with Randy Orton saying he's been hearing the voices, and we're about to find out who he's been talking to on the phone. And then we get interrupted by Matt Cardona, who just went straight after him, and just how the show started off, just carrying over from last week where Randy Orton attacked him and broke his arm, which I thought just carrying over, that's pretty good. I always thought it was going to be funny what happens if Randy's not even talking to anyone. He's just gone pure psychotic. Those voices, he's just gone nuts. I think that would be a fun little twist if they ever did it, but I doubt they ever will. Then we get into our first match of the night, the Bella Twins versus Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. In the words of my colleague that operates the AEW recap, Big Daddy C. Piss break. We here in the We Book It Boys, we respect for what the Bellas have done throughout wrestling. We do. But we don't want it. It's your guys' time has come. Move on. Before the match started, we had Nia Jax and Lash Legend came to ringside and talk a little trash to them. But ultimately, like I said, who cares about this match? The Bellas beat Charlotte and Bliss. Then afterwards, Nia and Lash Legend came out and started attacking both tag teams. And that got interrupted by Bayley and Lyra. Valkyria ran down for the save. And afterwards, we saw just hostility from Charlotte to the Bellas, which that carried over into a backstage segment. Yeah, this match was not my favorite. Like I said, I think the fatigue of the Bellas, I don't know what it is. It's not nostalgic like you had John come back. It's not nostalgic like you have Randy Orton turning heel. To me, it's just blah. Just blah. But we go on into our next segment that led into our next match. Rhea Ripley. Let's start off with a backstage segment with our Truth and Damian Priest, with Truth still believing that they're in the Judgment Day. And he had Jelly Roll confused for Tom and Nick Mysterio. Then when Rhea came up, he goes, "Oh, we're definitely doing this. We're putting a hot tub," which Damian Priest got all excited. I don't blame him. Hot tubs are awesome. Who doesn't love hot tubs? But this led into Rhea coming out, starting a promo, which got interrupted by Jade Cargill, B-Fab, and Michin, which that whole segment was just off. Something about it is just not organically right for me, or it's just not what I'm expecting from this. Just terrible. I'm not really liking the storyline with B-Fab and Michin joining forces with Jade. It feels extremely too rushed, in my opinion. It's not organic. It's just something they're trying to push out quickly, maybe for something that will have Jade keep her title. I don't know, but definitely not interested. But this led into a match with B-Fab versus Rhea Ripley. Rhea had control most of the time until Jade started interfering, which this led into disqualification. And basically Cargill, Michin, and B-Fab just taking out their anger on her on a 3-on-1 attack on Rhea. I don't know what they're really doing with the storyline. Are they trying to build up Jade more and have this new faction be the most dominant women faction on SmackDown, or if they're trying to build up Rhea? They've mentioned before Rhea, it's not as bulky as she was like previously 3 years ago. And that she's smaller. So I don't know what exactly the storyline is, but it's definitely lost its luster, if you will. Originally, when you had Jade and Rhea, and when you had that online Twitter, fighting going on, it added some more excitement. But now with this going on, it's definitely lacked its luster, almost comparable to how I feel of Punk and Roman's feud going into Mania. Just lackluster, nothing exciting. It's really truly excited me. Then going into our next match of the night is Jelly Roll versus Kit Wilson. We had a little backstage segment with The Miz and Kit Wilson, where The Miz is still freaking out because he is cursed, stepping on bubblegum. He dropped his phone in the toilet. Understand your pain. I've been there multiple times. It sucks. Anyways, Danhausen shows up and places a curse on Kit Wilson. Oh, let me do it right. You are curse. He got cursed before this match versus Jelly Roll. What can I say about this match? It actually wasn't that bad of a match as what we could have thought it would be, especially with Jelly Roll, who's not that well experienced in the ring, but has lost a bunch of weight, and he's definitely putting his work into the ring. Jelly Roll avoided a drop kick and hit an atomic bomb, and followed by a reverse atomic bomb, and then exchanged some jabs. Wilson did a hit running uppercut that regained his upper hand, but it didn't last too long. Ultimately, Jelly Roll came out and hit him with a choke slam, which is every big man's new finisher, if you will, especially someone as athletic as the rest of the superstars. Hit him with a choke slam to secure his win. Nothing too much to write off, just something carried over. More Jelly Roll here is used to carry on for the Cody Randy storyline, which we will talk about going on later on. Then we have our U.S. Open match. We had a backstage segment before this with the MFTs, basically saying we're gonna beat the Braves, we're gonna keep this. Yeah, I'm pushing you guys hard to be the best versions we can. And then after that, we see Carmelo come behind Tama Tonga saying, "Are you gonna ask for his permission, or what? I want you to challenge me." Okay. Then we had Shinsuke basically just gaslighting him still, saying, "You're going to be under Solo's thumb. Come on. You know what you could do. I know what you could do." Then Carmelo comes out. Then we wait. Then out of nowhere, we get Sami Zayn. My bad. Sammy Hogan out of nowhere to challenge Carmelo Hayes. This match was a little bit prompted to a backstage segment earlier the night with Trick Williams getting announced by Nick Aldis that he has a spot secured in WrestleMania. And then basically Trick being Trick, excited, rubbing it in Sammy's face, and Sammy not being happy. I mean, he got called a gingerbread man by Trick, which is wild. Got called a gingerbread man and was then just knocked him out. But this ultimately upset him that he doesn't have a match or a spot in WrestleMania. So in typical Hulk Hogan fashion, he came out during the U.S. Open Challenge and to secure a spot. But after that, we had a brief little pause, and Trick Williams came out. Still not happy about that, with the crowd chanting, "Whoop that Trick." So we start the match. It didn't take too long. We got Zayn, who with the loaded veteran, and Hayes is one of the best stars rising up. Then when we had interference from Trick Williams, and we accidentally knocked out Carmelo Hayes and stunned him, which was able to lead a spot where we had Sami Zayn hit this his finisher and for the pin. And yeah, Sami Zayn defeated Carmelo Hayes to be your new U.S. champion, which he ran straight back to the gorilla and backstage, talked to Nick Aldis, and he has his spot secured at WrestleMania. What can I say? We all talked about it in our group chat. We all hate this. We all extremely are disappointed in this. I mean, it's almost the same storyline, kind of where Gable got screwed over from the Intercontinental Championship. We're not excited. We aren't excited about here from the We Book It boys. But what does this lead into the WrestleMania season for everyone? Definitely same securing spot. We know Trick got announced. So is it going to be a just Trick versus Sami Zayn and Sami drops the U.S. title to Trick? I'd be happy with that. Or is it going to be a triple threat where you have Carmelo, Trick, and Sami, who all kind of got history now for that title, which that would be extremely interesting. In this case, which eventually lead to the buildup of Trick and Carmelo on the main roster, having a feud there, since we know their history on NXT, where they've been friends and gone back and forth, become enemies. So it's interesting to see what potentially they're going to do, but at the same time, why Sammy Hogan? Just not happy with it. Then our next segment for the night is Jacob Fatu, who had a backstage interview, said, "Nah, I'm hurt, I'm injured, but guess what? What I need to talk about, I'm going to take it to the crowd." Came out, started cutting a promo, got interrupted by Drew McIntyre. Them two were just jawing each other. Because Jacob's upset that he got taken out from Drew. He got his teeth knocked in. His food on the tables taken away from his kids. He's extremely upset. Then Drew came out and started saying, "Stop playing the baby card. Yeah. It's not all about you and all this." And then the two men were about to go at each other before he got interrupted by Nick Aldis that got announced for an unsanctioned match at WrestleMania, which I was excited for. But tonight's crowd in Pittsburgh, dead. No energy really tonight. And also tonight's card is kind of just meh on top of that. But I would have been excited to hear about that being announced for WrestleMania, but that crowd was not. I don't know. Maybe it was still from the Sami Zayn match. They were just no energy, but definitely just dead from that. But I'm excited to see this match. Then our next match and final match for the night is Giulia versus Tiffany Stratton. Before we had a little backstage where Chelsea's trying to partner up with Tiffany Stratton and Tiffany not having it at all. I think it would be pretty interesting or fun to have both of them together in a little group or faction, because you all know me. I'm a huge Chelsea Green fan, but we'll just see how that plays along. The first half of this match was pretty standard back and forth exchange. The champion found herself on the defense as the show cut to break. They hit some roadblocks along the way, but for most, what we got was pretty decent. Giulia was always throws everything she has in the match, but sometimes the chemistry isn't there. Ultimately, Giulia, with a little help from Keanu James, not retained, because this originally was supposed to be for the U.S. Women's before it got changed, but defeated Tiffany Stratton, which is eventually going to lead to another match between them. Maybe a triple threat with Chelsea Green. If she's held up in time, who knows? It'd be more fun, more interesting to see. Because like I said, they all three have history with the U.S. Women's Championship. So it'd be something extra and fun. And also, just to stick to Michael Hayes, if we had give Chelsea Green more spotlight, because, fuck him. Oh, then our main event of the night was Randy Orton versus Matt Cardona. This match was brought to us from the interaction earlier. Before that match, we had a little segment where Aleister Black and Zelina kind of just were like playing mind games with Matt Cardona. He was confused about it, but the two men come out, and don't want to say this was a squash, but Randy definitely took control of this match the entire time. We basically had almost prime 09 heel Randy going on in this match the whole time. He took off Cardona's brace he had to protect his broken hand, and just eventually just beat him in the match. And we had still a decent amount of time, which was throwing me off. Then we see the shot of Cody's bus out in the back as Cody's coming up through the back into the area to the ring. And ultimately, these two men are just going at it. They're all fired up. Randy's just listening to the voices. He's not paying attention. He's focused on number 15. Cody's just defending his title. But during this whole brawl, we had them go everywhere, just taking out each other on tables, going back in the ring, security, everyone just trying to break it up. Then we had Jelly Roll, who we know is a friend of Randy Orton, trying to be the mediator, the peacemaker in this situation. Not peacemaker like John Cena, but just bringing peace to this. And ultimately, that did not go so well in his favor. We had Randy Orton being typical heel, knock out some of the security and hit a RKO on Jelly Roll. Not much of a sell, but definitely during the initial RKO. But afterwards, he pretty sold the effect of the RKO, which is afterwards we had Randy roll out and just stare back at the chaos that he caused. The show, a pretty weak SmackDown. Something was definitely off. I don't know what it was. Just really meh. I think a lot of it had to do with the crowd, some of just the decisions of booking, but meh. Just leave your thoughts in the comments, if you will. But that has been your Friday night lowdown, throwdown, hoedown, bring around down, crack an egg, whatever Virgil says when he takes over the show. I am your host, Fritos. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Also, leave a little rating. We are on the Spotify and the Apple Music, where we have our podcast on there. And yeah, without fans like you, we wouldn't have this podcast. And remember to keep those booking pencils sharp and keep on booking. Peace.